everybody, it's Cynthia and I am back again with another Simon Says Stamp card kit video, and this time it is the November 2017 kit called Kind Flowers. And as I have mentioned many times, flowers are one of my favorite things, so I of course loved this kit and was very happy to get it. So let's go ahead and dive right into the kit contents. First of all, you get this gorgeous big stamp set. And when this kit was being introduced by Sherry Carroll, she said that they have never done a 6x8 stamp set in a kit before. So this is the first time they're doing it, and I think it's fabulous because this is beautiful, and you get all kinds of wonderful sentiments about kindness. There's this cluster of flowers, there's individual flowers and leaves, so you can do all different kinds of fabulous things. So this one is going to be a lot of fun. And then you also get this little coordinating die, and this will cut out the word kind very easily right here, or even in the center of your cluster. So this is a really convenient die to have, so that is good. And then let's see, you get this beautiful 18 sheets of a 6x6 pattern paper. This is from Pebbles, and it's called the Heart of Home Collection. And the neat thing about this is that it's one-sided, so you get to use every single one of your 18 patterns, and you don't have to decide which ones you like best, because sometimes that can be quite a challenge. It's like something like this. I always love to cut apart these sheets, and yet sometimes there's a really great pattern on the back. So I love having full access to all of the papers. And these are obviously beautiful, and you get a lot of sheets that have the pretty gold foil accenting. So it's wonderful, and this is going to be great to use. Then you get some coordinating colors of cardstock, and it's funny because I already have both of these greens in my personal stash, which is great because I go through it like crazy, and it's nice to have more. Anyway, so you get a sheet of dark chocolate, a sheet of their beautiful cream, and this is the green apple, and this is green leaf. So all four of those are beautiful. And then these papers are really, really neat. They just describe them as embossed papers, and you get a beautiful bronze one with this gorgeous floral embossing, and the silver one is really, really neat. It kind of has a pebbled finish, and I wish I could describe the feel of this. It's like a cross between paper and fabric. It's very pliable and soft, and it's really, really nice. And then this gorgeous piece in gold, I suppose, it is just lovely with all those embossed flowers. And again, it has that kind of fabric paper feel, which is really nice. And then we also get, let's see here, a full sheet here of all these wonderful stickers, and this is also from the same Pebbles Heart of Home collection, and so you'll be able to do all different kinds of embellishments with all these beautiful stickers that match those papers perfectly. So I will have a lot of fun using these. And then the final bit is this lovely package of gold leaf sequins pieces, and they're just really, really neat. And they have just a little bit of doming to them, which is very slight, but it's nice. It keeps them from being just completely flat. So these are really cute. But anyway, so that is the kit, and without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started on making 6 cards. So I'll be right back. All right, card number 1 is going to be on this ivory card base, and it's just an A2 side folding card. And I wanted to bring in some gray. So this is actually Stampin' Up's Smoky Slate cardstock. It was just the right mid-tone gray that I was looking for. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that. And this piece actually is, you can see that little nick out of the corner. So I'm gonna trim the whole card down when it's done. So then this is the pattern paper from the kit, and that's just going to be a little accent strip across the top. And here's a little kind of, what do I want to say? Just a little strip between the two pieces. And I'm going to use the same gingham and cut out a scallop circle. And now I'm adding an ivory circle to the center of that. And I wanted to use that darling house, so there it is. And I'm going to include that little gold home flag. Now I'm going to pop up these pieces. I just absolutely love having coordinating stickers with my pattern paper because it just makes card making so easy. Now I'm going to do just a little bit of embellishing. So I took the strip of little squares from the stamp set, and I'm going to use the matching ink to the cardstock. So it's Stampin' Up! Smoky Slate ink. And I'm just going to add a couple of little strips there just to add some interest to all that plain gray. Now I can go ahead and attach my focal image. And then I'm going to use my little paper guillotine trimmer to cut down the card. And there we go. That's card number 1. So card number 2, I decided to bring in some craft paper. And again, it's an A2 side folding card, and I cut a triangle of that pretty pattern paper. And now I'm going to, you can see I've got a little bit of tape on that sentiment stamp, and that is because I don't want the word kindness to stamp in that little text font. So I'm going to stamp everything else, and now I'm putting the word kindness, and I'm using that large stamp, and I'm going to put my triangle down briefly so I know exactly how much room I have. And of course I'm using my Versamark sticky ink, and here is just some gold embossing powder I had in my stash. And I'm going to melt that in, and of course it's absolutely gorgeous. I love gold. Now I can attach my triangle. I'm just trying to get those corners lined up really nicely. Now I'm going to take a circle die from my stash and cut out a circle from the middle, and I put it aside because I'm going to use it on the next card. And now internally I want a piece of ivory cardstock, and again I'm going to use that strip of squares to do some little accent stamping. So Versamark sticky ink and that same gold embossing powder. I just got that embossing powder from the craft store in a kit. I think it's Joann's brand, but it's a really nice embossing powder. So now I'm just going to attach that inside. And when you close the card, you won't see that gold. Now I'm going to take this pretty little butterfly flower sticker and put it in the middle. And that was card 2. Alright, so for card number 3, I'm taking a white card base, and again it's a side folding A2 card size, and I wanted to use this piece which came from here. So this is just the piece that I cut out, and I turned it this way, and I stamped "You Are Kind of Amazing," and I took some of the stickers here, just some of the leaves and the flowers, and there's of course a bunch of leaves here, and then the little white dots that are accenting. So I thought I wanted to bring in more white, and this panel is popped up on foam ready to go. And then for a background piece, I decided to take the craft cardstock again, and I clipped the corners, and then I used my Stampin' Up! Baked Brown Sugar ink, and if you have a craft brown ink or anything like that, it would look every bit as good. And then I took a couple of these leaves here and then these little single leaves here, and I just repeatedly stamped them over the background in that brown ink. And then I went ahead and sponged all the edges of this panel and all the edges of this circle in the same brown sugar ink. And now I'm going to take from the stamp set, there's this little cluster of 3 circles. So I'm taking that and I'm going to treat my surface again. Alright, I'm back with the voiceover because my cat was in the craft room and was crying for my attention. So yeah, I couldn't get him to stop. But anyway, so I am just going around and randomly stamping these little circles with my sticky ink. And I'm going to go ahead and put some gold embossing powder on. And then once this is all down, I'll be able to look it over and see if there's any little spots I want to add some more. So I am going to go ahead and do that. And then just get the powder onto those stamps. But I just absolutely love making my own background paper. And these stamps lend themselves so beautifully to that. There are tons of different things you can do. So now I'm just melting that all in. And here's the word kind, which I also heat embossed in gold. And I cut it out with the die. And now I'm going to just attach it to the center of that circle. And I do have a bunch of little pieces there of foam tape. Attach that down. And now I'm showing you my opaque paint in a marker. And I don't know how to pronounce that, if it's Posca or Posca. But anyway, I really love this pen. I got it at dickblick.com. But it's a nice way to add white to your project. And now I'm just going to attach everything. So there's my background paper, and here is my little focal piece. So that's card number 3. All right, so for card number 4, I'm doing another side folding A2 card, and I took this piece of pattern paper and I just edged it a tiny bit so it would stand out against the background. And I'm just going to go ahead and attach that down with some tape. So there's that down. And now I'm going to take some of that beautiful pebbled silver paper, and I'm making what's supposed to be like a little vase. And I used some black and white baker's twine, wrapped it around and tied a bow, and I popped this whole thing up on a piece of foam tape. And I'm just going to put that down here in the corner. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill this little vase with the leaves and flowers from the stamp set. So what I did is I took some of that smoky slate and also some of Simon Says Stamps slate dark gray cardstock, and then also this is Cactus from My Favorite Things. It's a beautiful green, and I stamped everything and heat embossed it in silver. And I did add with my white gel pen just little dots and lines on the different pieces just to give it a little bit of life. So now just using tape and glue and foam tape and whatever else, I'm just going to go ahead and start building. And you can certainly do this in any way, shape, or form that you want. You can use longer stems if you have a die that has longer stems, or just cut pieces of green cardstock into your own stems. But I didn't have a lot of room to get everything I wanted to in there, so I didn't worry about the length. So now I'm kind of working on the second level, if you will. And on these flowers, I'm going to pop them up. And of course, I never know when to stop, so this is going to end up getting awfully full. But I don't mind at all. I think it's lovely. I should have showed maybe just a bit of restraint, but I was having fun. And that's, of course, always the most important part, right? You should always, always have fun when you're crafting. This kit, though, oh my goodness, I'm not teasing you. I could have made a lot more cards. And I intend to go back and keep on making things. I won't tape that probably, but it's just so darn pretty. And with the paper and the stamps and everything else, you could really make a lot of things. So now I decided to cut apart that one sheet and just use this sweet little piece here that says Grateful Heart, and that'll be my sentiment. All right, so for card number 5, I decided to do kind of a scene. So I'm starting out with this pretty sea glass cardstock, and this is 4 1/4 wide and it's about 5 inches tall, but that doesn't matter because I'm going to add these bronze strips, and one of them is a little short, so I am going to trim the whole card at the end. And now for the transitional piece, I'm just putting down some of that beautiful dark chocolate between the blue and the bronze. So for that, I'm using some of my 1/4 inch wide double stick tape. I love that Elizabeth Crafts tape. Now I have a piece of the green leaf, and I just kind of cut a very subtle little piece of grass, if you will. And now I'm going to put another one of the house stickers and that cute little tree. And now I want to build another sentiment. So I'm picking out just the little text words, and then I'm going to include that beautiful scripted kind. So I'm just trying to see how things will fit. So for the kind, I am going to again use a Versamark and stamp it down, and then I'm going to add this beautiful kind of a real dark copper metallic embossing powder that I had in my stash. It's not a perfect match to the bronze paper, but it's still very, very pretty, especially against that gorgeous light blue. So now I'm going to get that melted really nice. And now I'm going to stamp down the rest of the sentiment, and I'm blocking off, it's a little hard to see, but I just covered up the word kind in the text, and now I'm using my VersaFine Onyx black ink. So it says, thank you for being so, and then kind. Now here I am trimming the entire card. And that is card number 5. Okay, so for the last card, I am going to use this beautiful floral cluster, and it's a big stamp, so I put it in my MISTI. And I'm using my Bristol Smooth white cardstock for this. So I'm just stamping this down in VersaFine Onyx black ink. Now I'm going to use my Simon Says stamp Fine Detail Clear Powder. So I'm just getting that completely over the surface, and now I'm going to melt it, which is everyone's favorite part. Now I'm using my Tombow Mono markers, and these are not Tombow Mono, sorry, Tombow markers dual brush tip. And I'm just using colors based on the pattern paper pack. So I'm just going to use 2 soft pinks, 2 greens, and a gold total. So this is not anything thrilling. I'm not trying to use any special effects. Just really, really straightforward coloring. And because this was heat embossed, I didn't want to use my alcohol markers because I have actually had some troubles with that. I know they tell you not to use it, not use alcohol markers with embossed images, and now I know that they're not kidding. I didn't ruin the tip of my pen, but the alcohol will melt that embossing, so it's kind of strange, but I didn't want to have any trouble, so I just decided to use my water-based markers. So now here I am with my 2 greens, and again, very, very simple coloring. I'm not trying to do any blending. If I haven't mentioned before, I really love the Bristol Smooth cardstock. I originally hesitated when everybody started talking about how great it was because I already had so much cardstock. I was like, oh no, don't make me buy more. And so I really resisted for a long time. But then I bought those, oh, what are they called? Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, and the Bristol and those markers are perfect together. So now I've got a Signo Uniball metallic gold pen, and it's such a beautiful rich gold, and I got it really cheap at, I think, just Walgreens, but it's an awesome pen, and the ink inside is completely opaque. You can color anything and you're going to get this beautiful rich gold. And it does take a minute. I think it's also the Bristol Smooth paper, but it's going to take just a minute for that gold to completely dry. So I got a little here on the top of the K, and I just was able to wipe that off. Now I'm actually going to go through and color the background, because even though I wanted to use my Bristol Smooth white cardstock, I didn't want it to be stark white, and so I'm taking this very, very soft, kind of a neutral colored pen, and I'm just doing a super, super quick and kind of messy background. So now I'm just going to fussy cut out this panel, and I'm using, of course, my favorite little Fiskars scissors that I love so much. They're just so comfortable in your hand. If you ever have any kind of cramping in your hand, a touch of arthritis or anything like that, these little nippers here are a great way to go. They make it really fast and easy. So there's my sentiment piece. And now I'm taking my pierced rectangle from the stacks, from My Favorite Things, and I cut out that little heart panel, and now I've got this beautiful floral rectangle, again from the pattern paper pack, and putting it down on my card base with just a tiny bit of reveal. Now I'm putting down that heart piece, and I'm just going to pop up my colored floral focal piece. These pop dots are really high, but I didn't mind because there was no other layering on this card, really. And that's card number 6. All right, so to review the cards, let's go through them. This was card number 1, where I just did some simple stamping and mainly relied on the stickers and the paper. And the card number 2 was the one with that circular opening where you can see the pretty sticker through it. And card number 3 was this fun one where I did a unique little, what do I want to say, customized background stamping, and used the piece from the second card and added some stickers and then did that nice popped up word. And then this one was a lot of fun where I did a vase and those lovely silver flowers and leaves, and then used that cut apart sentiment. And number 5 was the one where I used that pretty paper, and again with the stickers and just some simple stamping and a little bit of that fun dark copper embossing powder. And then there's of course number 6, where I finally used that wonderful flower grouping stamp and just added a little bit of gold detailing, and then again used just the pattern paper in the background. So I really like how these cards turned out. I had a ton of different ideas and I kind of had to narrow it down to 6, which is unusual. Sometimes I struggle to come up with 6 ideas, but this card kit is so lovely and so inspiring that I probably actually could have made 10 cards total. But that would mean that the video would be way, way long, so I decided not to. But thank you so much for sticking with me. I hope you had as much fun as I did. And if you're lucky enough to have this card kit, then I would encourage you to play around, take maybe some of these ideas and put your own spin on it, whatever you'd like. And I know that you're going to have a lot of fun. So look for the next card kit video. We don't know yet what that kit is going to look like, but there's a good chance that it's also going to be a really nice one. So you guys take care of yourselves, have a lot of fun crafting wherever you are, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.